Merry Christmas. I know that I'm usually on at the end, but they put me on at the beginning because it's my time of year. 'Tis the season to be jolly. I'm the Reverend. I am Jolie. Call me Angelina. And as we speak, this is the last day of Christmas. So welcome to the usual mix of nativity and stupidity. Starry skies, stale mince pies, Christmas karaoke and Christmas carry-on. It's Tea in the Hall, Christmas special. To tea in the hall, come one and come all, from Saturdays at 9. There's no bacon rolls, no scones, no snowballs, and nothing to drink at all. But we will share friendship and fellowship, fun quizzes, some stories, some talk. So mat your in tea and a biscuit all day. Please join us for tea in the hall. All the doors are shut, the church all locked up. There's nothing going on in the hall, but just the same we'll praise God's name. He doesn't change at all. So we'll meet next time in your house and mine to answer to the call. Bring your tin cup and come and sup with us, tea in the hall. As my friend the Reverend I Am Jolie would say, because of Christmas dances beyond our control, the Advent calendar of carols didn't even reach the first week, I don't think. So we're going to include in this Christmas special a few more carols with their stories. And thanks very much to all the people in Sanquhar District Silver Band and to other friends of our congregation and in our congregation who provided their musical skills right through the Christmas season for our different services and for these hymns now. Our first carol this morning is See in Yonder Manger Low. Sometimes the first line is See amid the winter snow. And the hymn was written by Edward Caswell. He was an Anglican, but he had just converted to Roman Catholicism when he wrote this hymn. And it was set to music, music specially written for it, to the tune Humility by John Goss. Now, although it was written way back in 1858, it has remained a firm favourite right up until the present day by all kinds of singers, and not just church singers. The pop singer Annie Lennox included it in her Christmas album in 2010 and included it again when she repeated the album in 2020. So it's a carol certainly for all ages, and it's played for us by Christine and Morag. What do you get if you swallow the Christmas decorations? Tinselitis. What do you call a penguin in the Sahara Desert? Lost. Why has Santa been banned from sooty chimneys? Carbon footprint. Did Rudolph go to school? No, he was elf-taught. And here's a very good friend, Ina McHattie, with a Christmas poem.
Now, if you have the time, I'd like to share this wee poem with you. It's called The First Christmas. It never snows at Christmas in that dry and dusty land. Instead of freezing blizzards, there are palm trees and drifting sands. And long ago, a stable and a strangely bright, bright star, and 3 wise men who followed it by camel from afar. And sleepy in the quiet hills, a shepherd gave a cry. He'd seen a choir of angels in an endless starlit sky. And in that stable, ox and ass stood very still and calm as they gazed upon the baby, safe and snug in Mary's arms. And Joseph, lost in shadows, face lit by an oil lamp's glow, stood wondering that first Christmas day over 2,000 years ago.
Still the night, holy the night, sleeps the world, hid from sight. Mary and Joseph in stable there, watch o'er the child beloved and fair, sleeping in heavenly rest, sleeping in heavenly rest. Still the night, holy the night, shepherds first saw the light, heard resounding clear and long, far and near the angels' song. Christ the Redeemer is here. Christ the Redeemer is here. Still the night, holy the night, Son of God, oh how bright, love is smiling from thy face, strikes for us now the hour of grace. Saviour, since thou art born, Saviour, since thou art born.
Lovely, Mary, thank you.
Still the Night, or Silent Night as it's also known. In the snowy Austrian village of Oberndorf, the priest, Father Joseph Mohr, was getting ready for people to come and sing carols about the birth of the baby Jesus. It was Christmas Eve 1818, and Father Joseph had written a poem about Jesus being born in a stable, and now he asked his friend Franz Gruber to write some music to go with it. There wasn't much time, so Franz dashed off a tune which was accompanied by a guitar. At midnight, Franz and Joseph sang their new song for the first time. They didn't know it then, but their song, Silent Night, would one day be sung all round the world at Christmas. The version sung by Bing Crosby in 1935 has sold 10 million copies as a single. Of course, in English, we sing it in translation. The original German was Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht. And the most common version in the English-speaking world is Silent Night, Holy Night. But another translation is the one that Mary sang, Still the Night, Holy Night, which was the one that was included in the Scottish 1927 hymnary, and it's the one that we still have in our hymnary today. Why was the turkey in a pop band? He was the only one with drumsticks. What is white and minty? A polar bear. What athlete is warmest in the winter? A long jumper. How do snowmen get around? They ride an icicle. What do angry mice eat at Christmas? Cross-mouthed puddings. What do you call a cat in the desert? Sandy Claus. What do you drain your carrots in at Christmas? An advent colander. And now we have our friend Lottie with 2 poems about Christmas, and they are very tea in the hall poems because we have the sublime and the ridiculous.
What is Christmas by Helen Steiner Rice. It's more than just a day at the end of the year, more than a season of joy and good cheer. Christmas is really God's pattern of living, to be followed all year by unselfish giving. For in the giving to others and in being kind, man finds true joy and peace of mind. And peace on earth will come to stay when we live Christmas every day. A Scottish Fairy. I'm a wee little fairy in the top of the Christmas tree. It's no a job of fancy. Well, how would you like to be me? All tarted up in tinsel, it's enough to mark ye boke, and a couple of jaggy branches rammed up the back of your frock. And all these lichts all around me, I canna get my sleep, and there's the yearly visit fae Santa, the great big fat creep. And Christmas Day I'm stuck up there, while you're all wiring in, and naebody says, "Hey, you up there, could you go a slug of gin?" The Christmas tree's a bonny sicht as the firelight softly flickers, but there's think o' me, I'm stuck up here, with needles stuck up my knickers.
And we're going to stay with Lottie's family now as they play for us Infant Holy, Infant Lowly, a traditional Polish carol this time. In 1920, the song was translated into English by Edith Reed, a British musician and playwright. She'd found it in a Polish hymn book, and though the song was discovered then, people believe it dated right back to the 13th century. The song's rhythm resembles that of the mazurka, a Polish folk dance popularized by Frédéric Chopin. It builds in the short steps and short lines up into a crescendo that ends with the phrase, Christ the babe is Lord of all. Christ the babe was born for you.
Hello. Did you hear anything about all the nativity plays being cancelled this year? They say it was on the internet. Mind you, there's a lot of good stuff in the internet, quite educational, but I think there's a lot of rubbish as well. Anyway, I don't bother much with it. I've never surfed in my life, so I'm not going to be surfing the net now. A bit late in the day, I think. Anyway, it's the children I feel sorry for, because they look forward to performing their wee plays every year. Of course, they're blaming it on the coronavirus. Funny how everything that goes wrong, it's all due to COVID-19. Anyway, it turns out that the three wise men were all facing a travel ban. All the shepherds had been furloughed, and the innkeeper had to board up his premises because of Tier 3 regulations. And even Santa couldn't get working because he needed the help of Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Covid, Vixen, Donner and Blitzen. And that would have bust the row of 6 for 6. And as for Rudolph, him with the red nose, he'd been told to self-isolate and take a test. I said there's a lot of nonsense on that internet.
As you sing our next carol, see if you can spot the cities that these Christmas trees are in. So we're just a wee bit beyond the 12th day of Christmas, which is the last day of Christmas. Cue for a wee song, I think. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see two hoovers clogged with tinsel and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see three stale mince pies, two hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see four blank bare walls, three stale mince pies, two hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see 5 extra pounds times 2 or 3, 4 blank bare walls, 3 stale mince pies, 2 hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see 6 cards from Jean, 5 extra pounds times 2 or 3, 4 blank bare walls, 3 stale mince pies, 2 hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see 7 Just Eat Texts, 6 cards from Jean, 5 extra pounds times 2 or 3, 4 blank bare walls, 3 stale mince pies, 2 hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see 8 sweetie papers, 7 Just Eat Eggs, 6 cards from Jean, 5 extra pads times 2 or 3, 4 blank bare walls, 3 stale mince pies, 2 hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see 9 Christmas earrings, 8 sweetie papers, 7 Just Eat Eggs, 6 cards from Jean, 5 extra pounds times 2 or 3, 4 blank bare walls, 3 stale mince pies, 2 hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see 10 dead batteries, 9 Christmas earrings, 8 sweetie papers, 7 just eat texts, 6 cards from Jean, 5 extra pounds times 2 or 3, 4 blank bare walls, 3 stale mince pies, 2 hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see 11 strawberry centres. I don't like strawberry centres. 10 dead batteries, 9 Christmas earrings, 9 8 sweetie papers, 7 just eat texts, 6 cards from Jean, 5 extra pounds times 2 or 3, 4 blank bare walls, 3 stale mince pies, 2 hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring at me. On the last day of Christmas, I look around and see 12 pairs of bed socks, 11 strawberry centres, 10 dead batteries, 9 Christmas earrings, 8 sweetie papers, 7 just eat texts, 6 cards from Jean, 5 extra pounds times 2 or 3, 4 blank bare walls, 3 stale mince pies, 2 hoovers clogged with tinsel, and a turkey sandwich staring back at me. Now, if you're wondering about the 12 pairs of bed socks, I went onto Amazon and I clicked what I thought were 2 pairs of bed socks, but here it was 4 pairs of bed socks, and my finger must have slipped, so I ended up with 12 pairs of bed socks. So if you're on my Christmas present list this coming year, then I think you know what you might be getting. Apologies if I look a wee bit fuzzy. I've had to go to another way of recording until the other one is fixed. We're going to go, as we always do, from the ridiculous to the sublime, from the last day of Christmas to January the 6th, which is today, which is the feast of the three wise men, or the feast of the Epiphany. And for some Christians, especially in the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Armenian Church, this is their Christmas day. They have a holiday and they celebrate the birth of Christ and the coming of Christ on this day. So, Merry Christmas to our brothers and sisters there. The coming of the wise men is a wonderful story, and we're going to tell it by looking at the wise men's journey then and similar journeys and things that we do now, and wondering about who is wiser, them or us. But we're going to begin with the telling of the story from the Bible, but it's from the Glasgow Gospel as translated by the late, great Jamie Stewart. Jesus was born in the town of Bethlehem during the time of King Herod. Soon after, some astrologers came for the east asking, "Where's the newborn wean that they're crying King of the Jews? We saw his star and we're here now to worship him." King Herod was guy pit out when he heard this, and all Jerusalem along with him. He called a meeting of the Jewish high Hedons and put the question to them, "Where is it that this Christ is to be born?" They answered, "In the town of Bethlehem in Judea." Herod sent the astrologers after Bethlehem. "Try and find the wean, and when you find him, tell me, and I mysel' will go and worship him." The astrologers set out again, and right enough, the star was standing there, shining bright o'er the town of Bethlehem. Man, they were fair, bursting with joy. They went into the house, saw the wean and his mother Mary, and knelt down in homage. Then they opened their bags and gied presents, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Wha's wiser, them or us? Fireworks are nothing new, even fancy ains made in China. When Christ was born in Bethlehem, the fireworks couldn't be finer. For in the sky the shepherds saw the Lord's bright shining glory. Then later on some wise men saw a star. Man, what a story. As fireworks go, this star, well, it's up there with them all. Especially since it doesn't just spurt out and last a minute or twa. No, it lasted and it lasted. And its licht these wise men knew did pint to a maist special wean, born to be king of the Jews. And I'll tell you another thing about your modern inventions. That sat-nav stuff ye gab about and all that other nonsense. They wise men didn't need all that. Though I suppose you could say a star is like a satellite up in outer space, guiding you down here to there. And that was just what this star did, guided fae desert lands afar, right up to where the wean was, aye, richt to the very door. And all you folk with your Christmas presents delivered by courier, you hardly lift a finger, it just couldn't be easier. And you think you're off a fancy and well ahead o' the game. Yet, our 2,000 years ago, Jesus had the same. Of course, it wasn't DPD, UPS, Hermes or Yodel, but the presents were transported with delivery men on camels. Gold and frankincense and myrrh. And I'll tell you another thing. There was nae VAT or customs. The hale lot was all for him. Aye, we could learn a thing or twa for these wise men on that Bethlehem road. And the thing we could learn most is to worship Jesus as our God. Aye, that's what made them wiser. They knelt afore Jesus as their God. Well, it was a kind of late Christmas delivery, but better late than never. And from New Cumnock Parish Church, we wish all of you a good, safe, healthy, happy New Year. Please get in touch if you need to. And we hope it'll be a time when we can help each other through this difficult time and also know the help that there is in our God. God bless.